We're going to continue our talk from last Saturday. And I am just going live on all platforms right now. So I'm going to give it a minute for everybody to get the notifications. And I'm going to send out my notifications. So, hello, and say hello when you get here. Again, we're gonna go a little deeper, or just a little more focused differently than we were last week. And see how you guys are doing. Hold on, I'm trying to send my stuff out, my notifications. But say hello if you're watching. Nikia, what's up? Oh my gosh, it's so good to see you. You're watching on YouTube. I am on YouTube. I'm on Facebook. I'm like both Facebooks, both YouTubes, and on TikTok. So hi, Angelica. Hi, Cardaman C. It's so good to see you guys. I feel pretty amazing. I'm kind of tired today. I started working out yesterday on my Pilates machine and I am sore. So I almost didn't want to do this tonight. And I'm like, no, it's a needed conversation. So yeah. Who do we have on TikTok? Say hello if you're in the comments. Comment on TikTok. If you're watching on YouTube or Facebook, say hello. I want to make sure you guys can hear me too. I guess I should raise my microphone slightly. Can you guys hear okay on all the sides, on all the platforms? I hope your holidays were good. Seen you in one of the hardest times of my life. I miss you so much. I'm back. I've been a lot on TikTok, more than I've been live. Like I go out live on TikTok more than I do anywhere else. Angel Khan. Looks like I'm already going to have to block people over on TikTok. What the heck? Like, it never fails. I will be able to get through a whole stream without having to block people, but it seems like there's all kinds of things over on TikTok going on. So, yeah. I haven't had to block anyone on Facebook or YouTube in a long, long time, but TikTok, we tend to get a lot of people that we have to block. Anyways, tell me about your Christmas. Let's get everyone here before we jump in. This is part 2 of what we talked about last week, how to rise above the chaos, but I'm going to take a different track tonight because a lot of people had questions or were really focused on like the identity shift aspect. It was good. So glad that your Christmas was good. We had very low key Christmas, had dinner, played games. It was a long day of cooking as per usual, but it was just me and my family. So it was very quiet. But it was still exhausting. It was still very exhausting. This year I've done so many things, and a lot is to thank you. Went to the beach for Christmas for the first year. Awesome. I love that. It's so good to see you, Nikia. Like, so good to see you. So yeah. All right. So if you missed last week's live stream, I think I left it. You met your grandson, Carter Sane, on YouTube. Awesome. That is such a blessing. Last week I did a whole almost 2 hours presentation and teaching around how to rise above the chaos and stay sane and stay stable, right? As the world is going off the rails. Kind of a needed talk right now, don't you think? And then I said because I had to condense that talk so that I didn't overwhelm y'all. So I said I would come back this Saturday and we would go deeper into different aspects. If you did not see that one, it is up in Hidden Wisdom. For those of you in Hidden Wisdom, I have not taken it down off of YouTube or Facebook yet. I'm debating whether or not I should. We've got some new things in the work, which I will mention tonight as well. So it's a blessing to have you too. That just makes me smile. Nikia on YouTube saying, I'm glad you're here and well. Such a blessing to hear your voice. Yes, I'm back. I mean, I've been back for a few months now after the cancer. But yeah. So it's good to be back. It's good to be helpful. And like I said, I've got some things brewing right now, which I will talk about in a little bit. But I want to say this before we get into any talk about rising above and any spirituality, identity, money, solutions, all the things we're kind of working on right now. Um, I want to say some real things because honesty is stabilizing and we don't have enough honesty, I think, right now. In mainstream, we're getting gaslit left, right, and center all day, every day. I mean, I guess the orange one didn't have much to do for the holidays, so he was super busy, like gaslighting up America. And I was off of social media, so I was very grateful. I didn't see it till much later, and until yesterday. But my God, we need real talk. We need to name things. The cancer broke my heart after losing my mother. Refused to ever believe you'd be gone. Yeah, no, you know me. I'm a fighter, and I'm not done. Spirit's not done with me. And literally, that cancer battle had a lot to do with what we're going through now. So, for those of you who are new to me, I had stage 4 lymphoma last year, 2024. And in the middle of my chemo, when I was feeling like I can't do this, like this is ridiculous. And I had a huge tumor, and was so sick through the chemo. And I'd always said I'd never do chemo, but it got to the point where either you do chemo or you're not going to be around in a month. Like it was bad. And I tried all the natural stuff. As I was going through it, Spirit said, you are going through on a physical level, a spiritual, mental, emotional level, the deconstruction and then reconstruction that everyone's going to go through next year. This was in 2024 when I was going through this. And I just got the all clear a few months ago. Like I just had my 3-month all clear, right? So, so it's part of, I think, my walk and purpose on this planet is to walk through difficult things, challenging things. And if you've read my book, you know this is true. Like I've walked through some horrific things. And sometimes I go through things ahead of people so that I can show you how to do it with grace. And I live streamed and did all the things, did updates through that. And now here we are as a society going through deconstruction. And it's scary and it's uncomfortable. And we all are like, what in the fuck is happening? And a lot of people don't want to be going through this. Tell me in the comments if you're like, I don't know how we got here. Why are we going through this? What is happening? I don't want this to be happening. But then at the same time, you feel powerless. And the only way is to go through it. Like we don't get to escape it. You know what I mean? Wouldn't it be nice? Like I thought that all the way through chemo. Like I want to escape this. I don't want to go through this. And I know a lot of people are feeling that right now, and you're like, I want off this ride. This is a nightmare ride. Are any of you feeling that? Like, am I the only one? I can't be the only one. Put in the comments. Rita, what's up, girl? So it does feel to me, sitting back now that I'm through my cancer journey, I can completely relate to the stuff I went through mentally, emotionally, physically, the daily grind, the battle to get out of bed if I could, the restrictions on what I could do, when I could do it, and how I could do it, the brain fog, and the feeling of isolation and loneliness was super intense, right? Some of you are going through that because of the fact that maybe your family or your friends, maybe they voted for this shit, and you're like, I'm not gonna, I'm not dealing with you because they can't see it still. They're still asleep. That may be what's happening for some of you, and it's such an uncomfortable, sad place to be. But I will tell you, like, it's normal to feel all these things, and I'm not going to sit here and rah cheerlead everyone and make you believe, that what you feel, what you're thinking, how you're responding, how you're reacting, all the things are not perfectly normal, because they are perfectly normal. The people that aren't reacting to everything going on in this country here in the US, anyone who's not really I think the ones that aren't reacting are not paying attention or don't really fully understand where we are in this moment. In my life of 59 years, we have not been here. We haven't been here in the world, um, in such a big country that affects other countries, a superpower, like since 80 years ago. Do the math, right? And again, on live stream, I have to be careful about references and words I use, naming certain countries, blah, blah, blah. But just understand that if you are feeling like on a daily basis, the energy's riding so hard, so rough, and you're like, what in the hell? But at the same time, you look around your life and you're like, I have a lot to be grateful for. But at the same time, you've got fears because the job market is shrinking. You're sitting out there with a bunch of us. And if you're spiritual and or you're even newly awakened, and you keep hearing people tell you to love and light it through, I'm going to say this, and I've been saying this, I'm going to keep saying this, because I am not your love and light coach and teacher. I am not, and I never will be. I am not about fluff. I'm about, let's get some real juice going and let's do something real about things. Yes, I'm a clairvoyant. Yes, I am here to try and give out some wisdom. Hi, Bay. But spiritual bypassing, avoiding what's happening, keeping your head in the sand will only further create lessons for you at this time. We are here at this moment to go through this, and it's not fun and it's not comfortable, but we can do it in the best possible way. So, you guys want to talk about it? And again, I want to go a little deeper than we did last week, but like every time I do a live stream, and this isn't about me, this is about you guys, and this is about what is going to help you. I had comments from last week's stream as we were going through and I was teaching, and at the very end, some of you said the things you needed to work on was the identity shift piece. So, remove your background noise. What do you mean my background noise? I don't have any background noise. You guys hear okay on TikTok? And can you hear okay on YouTube and Facebook? Maybe it's just a sound thing with TikTok. They're telling me I can remove my... They're confusing me, which isn't that hard to do sometimes. Okay, so how many of you were here last week? You don't have noise? Yeah, me neither. I mean, I can hear the train going by a couple miles from my house, but anywho, how many of you were here last week? Rita was, Andy was, I know that. I don't know who, I think Angelica was. And on YouTube, I thought that, I can't remember, Cartomancy, if you were on, Bay was there. But I don't know how many of you saw the whole thing or watched the whole thing on replay. If you have not and you're on YouTube, you can watch the replay on YouTube. I have not taken it down yet. I was going to, but I'm not going to, because something shifted and changed, and I was like, no, I'm just going to leave it up. In any case, last week we talked about how the multi-systems at one time are collapsing, and that this is engineered. Like, Trump's not acting alone. You guys get that, right? In a lot of ways, he is a puppet. In a lot of ways, he's a madman. In a lot of ways, these things, as we saw in the Heritage Foundation's Project 2025, were orchestrated decades ago. And he was the player that could bring it through and make it a reality. There's a group of people in the elite that are literally pulling these things off, but it's happening so rapidly at one time that our nervous systems are having a hell of a time keeping up. You know what I mean? On TikTok, it's been sold. It switches hands fully. Um, Naikis, thank you. It switches hands on January 22nd, and a lot of you may or may not decide to stay on the platform. I have real big questions about whether or not I'm going to be staying. I am staying on YouTube. Facebook, I don't do as much on. I'm on Skylight. I'm on Blue Sky. I'm on Substack. I'm all the places. Plus, I post on my own blog on my website. So you always like get it. Like you can find me. I'm there. Just look up Bernadette Gold. That's my real name. That's my website. And that's how you can find me on YouTube as well. It's important to stay connected to the people that you resonate with, even after the shift of social media. There is going to be, and I will tell all of you this, like I clearly keep getting hits intuitively that the surveillance and the censorship crackdowns are going to be even more extreme into 2026. So we have to form communities. We have to stay connected. We need to offline and or off social media platforms as well, gather together so that we don't try to go through this alone, because that can be more destabilizing. And I know a lot of people are already feeling cut off and alone, right? As it is right now, things are happening so fast that we're expected to work, to plan, to parent, to retire, to make decisions, to stay positive, and do all the things while the ground underneath us is shifting. And that was everything we trusted, right? Again, it's all very destabilizing, and it puts an enormous amount of pressure on your nervous system, on your psyche, right? So if you're feeling anxious, if you are feeling more exhausted than normal, if you are even feeling disassociated at times or disoriented, angry, numb, frozen, paralyzed, like I don't know how to move forward. Again, nothing wrong with you. This is nervous system responses to things going off the rails. And you're responding exactly the way that a healthy human responds when things stop making sense. So I really want to be very clear about that for all of you, like all of this anxiety and overwhelm and exhaustion and disorientation, like it is normal. To not feel all of that means you're not looking at what's happening, and you're bypassing. I don't know how anyone can see what's happening to our family, friends, neighbors, people we love, to people losing their jobs, to the healthcare getting hit, to ICE coming in and taking people away, and families being separated, and our constitutional rights being ripped apart. I don't know how anybody is not feeling the stress of it. And I know a lot of people are hiding from the news, but and somehow avoiding it on social media. But we can't stop things, change things, shift things if we don't pay attention. Hi, Linda. I'm glad you made it. Hey, Brenda. What's up? So it's funny because while some people want to tell us everything's fine, our bodies know it's not, right? Hi, Donna Jean. Literally, right? Like the orange one put out a thing, and he's like, affordability crisis is a hoax. Like, hoax my ass. Tell that to the cashier who's ringing up my groceries and everything's like full on super expensive. Tell that to the insurance company that just quadrupled my out of pocket to the point where I have to cancel my insurance. A year after, not even a year after getting on all clear, months after getting the all clear on stage 4 lymphoma. I know it's risky, but at this point, they're not going to cover anything until I hit 9,000 out of pocket on my deductible, right? Which for me isn't that scary, because prior to having to go through chemo, I did everything natural. I have biomagnetism therapy. I have Rife therapy. I have Scalar. I have PEMF. I have all kinds of stuff. And I have been in the natural health coaching world for natural health practitioner world since before, I guess it was like 1997, right? So I have a lot of things that I can do to keep myself healthy. And I learned an important lesson through the cancer. And it's something I really want to share with all of you or remind you of. And it's this, because I had cancer for 2 years before I ended up in the hospital in the emergency room. I knew it was there. I was treating it as much as I could, or as much as I was willing to. I did a lot of natural stuff, but I waited till the very last minute to start working on myself because I had a lot of clients and I put them ahead of my health and I put them ahead of me. And I had a lot going on with my family and I put them ahead of my health and I put them ahead of me until, oh shit, it's too late, right? So that lesson of, no, you got to take care of you. You really have to take care of you before you let everyone else become the priority. And again, I want to remind all of you of that, especially at this time when we're all being systematically attacked on all levels: emotional, mental, psychological, and physical, and financial, right? My pharmacist just asked me to sell the meds I make in his store. Yes. For some. Wow. That's cool. I mean, I think that a lot of people are going to turn more natural, alternative health and remedies, which is something that I've been talking to Spirit a lot about. And I'm well positioned for it. And now that I'm healthy, I can work on people again. And I have clients that I am working with one-on-one. But we have to take more responsibility for our health and educate ourselves as well so that we can keep ourselves healthy, because I'm not so sure that like biological warfare ain't a thing going on. Literally, this stuff that's going through like the entire world right now, this bizarre clump of viruses that are knocking people out for weeks and weeks on end, and they're testing negative for all this stuff, tells me it's really important we up our immune system, right? I don't know how many people realize how potent vitamin C, high dose vitamin C is, zinc, right? Like I use oregano oil with black seed. I use thieves oil. I use a lot of stuff and I make sure that my vitamin D levels are proper. But even though I am going to be canceling my insurance and not renewing in the new year because my premium's just ridiculous, ridiculous. And the deductibles, like this was before, they haven't even given us the new numbers since the subsidies expire in a few days. And those were the numbers before the subsidies expire. And I'm on the marketplace insurance because I'm self-employed. So I'm telling y'all, like it's I talked to my doctor, I talked to my oncologist. They're like, if you're self-pay, it's probably going to be cheaper as long as you don't have anything catastrophic. I can't get catastrophic insurance because I did just have cancer. Been sick for weeks. We didn't test positive. No. And in one my video that has like 3.6 million views on TikTok, I was talking about using my nasal wash, Navage. I have one of those machines, but y'all can get those little sinus wash kits at the store with Sane. I put oregano oil in mine, burned like hell. My eyes went red, opened my sinus passages. Within a couple of days, that thing blew through. I got it a second time, did the same things, right? I did Manuka honey, the medical grade Manuka honey, thieves oil in hot water, oregano oil, both the pills and gargling drops because my throat was messed up. And then yeah, pushed it through really quick, but it ran through my house twice in a matter of 3 weeks. Like got it, cleared it, got it again. It was like the revenge of the ick. So I know a lot of people are going through that, and I think we're going to continually see these things. If you look at the measles outbreaks, the weird stomach viruses, salmonella, E. coli, H. pylori, there's so many things. but natural, you can help yourself by learning about natural modalities and then making sure that you're staying on top of your pathogen load, your bacteria, your fungus, parasites, and all of that. So that's not what I was going to talk to you guys about tonight. However, we can touch on that. I really want to talk with you guys about some things that you can do when things start feeling more disorienting. So put it in the comments if you are already in that space. You totally resonate with, you identify with what I'm saying. Anxiety spikes, disorientation, sometimes disassociated, strange fatigue and overwhelm, right? Like, or even to the point where you're just numb. But that exhaustion is not your normal run of the mill exhaustion. And it's just continued over the months. And then if you get sick, it's even worse. Tell me in the comments. Do you resonate with that? Yeah. If you go to the doctor, there's nothing they can do. There's honestly nothing they can do. And literally you're better off doing supplements, because so many of these viruses and whatnot can't be treated with antibiotics. But if they do give you antibiotics, understand you're messing your stomach up. And some of the antibiotics, these things are really resistant to. Crisis this year, different than any other. Yeah. Well, to orient you even farther, the feeling of just like, holy hell, I can't take anymore, that feeling like you've got to question your own perception, definitely feeling tired, you've got to question your own perception. That's something some of you probably recognize if you've been in a narcissistic or abusive relationship. So drop me a comment. Let me know. Have you been through this in a narcissistic or abusive relationship where you went through all the things we're going through now, only it wasn't a collective deal? It literally was just you. Yeah, like, is this real? Oh my God. Every day. For real. Yeah. When you're in an abusive or narcissistic relationship, literally reality gets denied, minimized, truth gets reframed, and or constantly contradicted, right? And the nervous system literally starts to falter. It's normal and healthy for your nervous system to react, because when truth is distorted, literally your body's like throwing red flags on the field, right? For real. We're so used to keeping it positive, especially in the spiritual communities, y'all. Like, toxic positivity is a thing. For those of you who have been through abusive relationships, or you've been awake for a long time like me, decades, you know how to sit through this, but it's still not comfortable. So I just want to tell you, like, I'm here to remind you, we got this, but holy hell, this ride is not fun right now. And it was never meant to be. Peacekeeping is the default. It's not good. Yeah. If peacekeeping becomes a drain on you, that's not good either. Like, if trying to keep everybody, I tend to be the buffer for a lot of people. But I'm at the point where I'm really just holding space for people now and just letting them get it out, not carrying things for them, which there's a difference between holding space and actually carrying things. And people need to know the difference. There is a saving energy here. It's called malicious compliance. I can see it working in the news headlines. Oh my God, right? Yeah. So, Manuel Lewis on YouTube. I have no idea what you're talking about, but it seems so way off topic from what we're talking about and the discussion is tonight. And I'm actually like on target tonight. We're not just talking. So I'm going to stay focused. I'm going to try to stay focused. Anyways, when everything is as distorted as it is, I really want to be clear that one radical act that you can do is gain clarity. Step out of the madness, calm your nervous system, regulate yourself, and gain clarity. Because clarity at this point in a world of fuck all confusion is radical self healing, and it makes you not controllable. Because look, this isn't about us fixing all the problems in the world. You've been doing a lot of holding space. Yeah, same. This is about seriously stabilizing yourself so the chaos around you doesn't collapse you from the inside out. You guys get that? Yep, combat begins internally. Totally agree. Self-regulation. Yes, cartomancy. Absolutely. I mean, truly, look, the way that things work to destabilize, like the engineered chaos, is meant to hit you on all levels: mental, emotional. It's meant to make you question yourself, doubt yourself. It's meant to drain you physically. Because, see, people that are exhausted, that no longer trust themselves, now you can control. And you can push through the lie and you can contain them. I say, because we can't fight the way that they are wanting to provoke us to fight. You fight by becoming someone who's above the chaos that they can't control. Right? So, stabilize you so that you don't collapse as everything and everyone around you does. So to do that tonight, just ground first before we get any farther, we're going to do what we did last week. Because I want you guys to use the tools that I help you with and I'm teaching you guys, right? Yes, it is. I'm no longer keeping up with the BS. I had to stop looking at it. I still check the news. I'm on it. But I'm on it from the standpoint of, okay, I see your little chess move. How do we build the parallel systems, and where do people need to really plug in to strengthen themselves? Okay. I'm trying not to get lost in the comments. So take a deep breath. All y'all, get centered right now. We're going to take a deep breath in and we're going to let out the sound ah. And we're going to do this a few times. Okay. You guys know this is one of my go-tos all the time. And I do it unconsciously now because it is one way to regulate your system super, super fast. So deep breath in. Ah. Let the sound ah out. Take another deep breath in. All right, do one more. Deep breath in. And you let your jaw loosen, you let your shoulders drop, right? That sound ah helps to stimulate your vagus nerve and tells your nervous system, I'm here, I'm not under attack, right? It helps you orient to the present moment. There's another thing you can do once you've kind of calmed everything back down, and you can do 3 breaths, 7 breaths, like however many you need to do until that ah sound is nice and level. Like relieving. Right? I've done the ah sound, and it starts, especially if I'm frustrated with something, it starts with like, okay, shallow breath. That's not good. Like, you got to get the tension out. So you calm it down, right? And then after you're done with the breathing, name 3 things that you can see in your direct view. 3 things. Like right here's my microphone. I can see that. My calendar's right there. My light is right there. 3 things to help orient me in the now moment so that I'm not tripping and pitching out and lost in trauma in my mind. Okay, so breathe, let the ah sound out. Long, slow breaths regulate your nervous system. That's a tool you always have no matter where you go. Doesn't require batteries, doesn't require headphones. Like deep breath in. Ah, like you can use that anytime you need to calm down, right? If you're sitting and you have your feet in front of you, just put your feet on the floor, right? Feel what you're sitting on. If you're sitting, if you're standing, feel how your feet feel. Wiggle your toes. You really just want to get your body aligned to the nervous system once you level it out and calm it down, right? And be really present in your space. Do I feel cool? Do I feel warm? Do I feel comfortable? Right? Like one of the things I do with some people who are kind of in panic is I'll have them open and close their eyes multiple times, like open, close, open, close, open, close. And part of that is so that I can pull their focus forward. Tapping on your cheeks brings the blood flow to the frontal part of your brain so you're not lost in all the memory stuff. And this works too if you're triggered into trauma response, just saying. And I work with a lot of people in trauma. So I have a lot of tools and I have a lot of tips for stuff like that. So understand you have these little things that you can do, right? You can roll your eyes. Roll. Deep breath in. Right? There's a lot of breathing exercises. I agree, Nikas. Like any kind of breathing exercises that are intentional and help you gain control and regulate are going to be helpful for you. And it's good, like, even if you're not in panic or anxiety mode, to do that breath work and release with the ah sound a few times a day, just to recenter yourself and to release tension is a good way to keep the stress managed. So it's not just piling, because a lot of you will go through your day and just keep carrying the stress. Belly breathing works very well with me. Yeah, absolutely. So everything in the world may not be okay, but you're okay enough to breathe. So thank you for the rose. Cool, Betty. You're safe enough and okay enough to breathe, to think, to choose. And we have to remember, chaos or not, I have the freedom to breathe, to think my own thoughts, and to choose in this moment. And I think a lot of times we forget that. Like we have so much coming at us and we can't focus because fear collapses thinking, right? Fear collapses thinking. Why do you think they keep throwing shit at us trying to make us scared? Fear collapses thinking. Urgency, thank you, Miss Rita, for the fireworks. Urgency eliminates our ability to discern. And then overwhelm just makes everything feel equally important. And then you cannot decide how to move forward. Like, you know, that freeze, fight, flight, freeze, fawn? A lot of people are in freeze mode because we got so much crap coming at us. Thank you. For saying it's a good quote. We have a lot coming at us. When you get into overwhelm, everything feels equally important. You don't know how to move forward and you freeze, you paralyze. Can't think, right? Because now I don't have a grasp on or control of myself. I'm no longer regulated, which means I can't think. I'm not breathing properly, and my body's in either fight, flight, or freeze. That's kept me alive all year, knowing if I'm alive, something else good is coming. I love that. Yeah. So you can ask yourself, and write these questions down. All right. I'm going to go slow with them so that you guys, one of the things that we can do for ourselves is to really clarify what's going on with ourselves and name it. I said this last week. We've got to name it. Name how you're feeling and then choose intentionally what you're going to do. So, the first question I would ask myself if I'm in that freeze mode, if I'm in that overwhelm mode, is what needs my attention right now? One thing. What needs my attention right now? Okay, that's the first question. The second question is what can wait until my system is a little steadier and I feel a little calmer? What can wait? See, we tend to think we have to just take on everything at one time. And when you're in a place where you've entered into survival mode, whether we like it or not, we think, and this is true about even as things collapse, we think we have to fix everything at one time. It's all or nothing. You get into catastrophic black and white thinking, and that is a mistake because your nervous system automatically is just going to freeze and go, no, like, no, you're not going to fix anything, right? That's a survival mechanism. You don't need to fix everything. What needs your attention right now? Ask yourself that. What can wait until your system is steadier and calmer? That's the second question. The third question you're going to ask yourself is, what is draining me that I can temporarily disengage from? Temporarily, not run away from, temporarily disengage from. It could be a conversation you're having. It could be that you're at work and something's going on. Maybe you just need to disengage from something because it's draining you. I know when I'm working on projects, if I hit a place where I can't figure out the answer, one of the fastest ways for me to be able to push through whatever block I'm having is to get up and go do something else instead of forcing and pushing and banging my head up against a wall. Thank you, Mr. Andy. Truly, sometimes we have to step away. And it's true, no matter what's going on, if something is draining us, we need to temporarily disengage and go focus on something else. And don't let your mind talk you into, which is fear, into, no, you have a deadline. No, you have to do it now. Oh my God, and beat you up over it, because that's coming from a place of fear as well. So what needs your attention right now? One thing. What can wait until your system's calmer? And then what drains you that you can temporarily disengage from? And then the final question is, what stabilizes me right now? That could be breathing. That could be going for a walk. Do you guys know how powerful it is to just simply walk? I don't care if you're having an argument with your partner. I don't care if the world is crashing around and like there's a bunch of shit. Put your phone away and go for a walk. It is so helpful because you're signaling to your brain that I'm moving forward. Like I'm physically moving beyond this imaginary mental block, emotional block. Right? I'm glad. Thanks for jumping in. So, walking and then walking and breathing, maybe just putting on some nice non-lyrical classical music or meditation music and laying down. Maybe that will calm things down after you breathe. Sometimes you need a nap. Sometimes we just need to take a nap. 20 minutes, take a power nap. I literally think we've lost the art of taking naps. Naps are so good at resetting you because everything that you were worried about just dissipates the minute you're able to fall asleep. And if you're like me, like I've had insomnia since going through chemo, I listen to binaural beats. I will put my headphones in and put it on a binaural beat program for sleep induction. And binaural beats, you can get them on YouTube, you can buy them. There are different people make tracks. Binaural beat frequencies are changing your brain waves. So you can use binaural beats as well. Learned how to run 10 miles this year and rest. Grateful for all. God, yeah. Moving your body, especially if you're in panic and you're frozen, is one of the fastest ways to calm and regulate your nervous system. And if you can't walk because you have an injury or whatever, I mean, you can sit in your chair and move your arms, like no excuse. There's things that you can do to physically get your body moving forward and get your focus moving forward. Um, Rising above the chaos begins when we stop reacting to everything and we have no intention. We stop reacting and we start choosing intentionally. Tai Chi is amazing. Exactly. Just start moving in place. I used to have this little squishy ball, and we had a little net. We bought it at some little kitschy store. And I remember I used to have it above my desk, and I would sit here when I would hit blocks and I would just repeatedly throw it in and it would bounce back, throw it in the hoop and grab it like tennis ball. You can do the same thing, right? Stuff like that. There are so many little things as we grow older we forget. I mean, hell, my son-in-law just got for Christmas a yo-yo. It's got all the lights. You guys remember? It was like $1. It's his favorite Christmas present because the thing just whirls. And he was sitting there doing his yo-yo. We don't think that things like that we don't think of them as actually helping our nervous system regulate. But in reality, because it's taking us out of whatever our mind is locked into and doing a physical activity and reshifting, refocusing, it's actually really powerful and very helpful. Get a yo-yo, right? Remember those little wooden paddles that had the balls on them that we used to hit? I don't remember what they're called. You guys know what I'm talking about? It had the little string and the ball, and you hit it and it bounces out. There's that. If you can't walk, I'm saying. And even if you can't, if you're stuck at your desk. That's why people have fidget spinners, right? It's doing something physical, kinesthetic to get your body to shift. But there's other more fun ways, I think, to be able to do that. So anyhow, all right. So as we were talking about like the identity shift that we have to shift from who we've been if we've been stuck in survival mode to who we really are at our highest level, like that calm, regulated. Sorry, I just got a message from iCloud. That calm, regulated. We have to shift into that identity, the one that's confident, the one that trusts ourselves. From that place, that's where your intuition kicks in. That is where you can see solutions. You can see actions that you need to take, opportunities, and you're in control. From that place of dysregulation and confusion and fear, you're not. I started just do it now for tasks and help so much, realize how much time was wasted. Yeah, we spent a lot of time in our heads thinking about how overwhelming everything is rather than just taking some action. Sometimes we just need to take actions. But identity crisis does hit hard. Even if you're just in a dark night of the soul, it hits hard, you know. And then there comes this thing within your head where you think like you have some lack of information or lack of opportunity, lack of money, lack of choices. And that's not what it is. It really is identity. It's about specifically who am I really? Not who has the world told me to be, how am I reacting, what's my job title, what role am I playing? No, Who am I? Right? That's where you're going to find your strength, because identity, it really is about who you are at your highest level. We all were born as babies, blank slates. We had stuff layered upon layered upon layered upon layered. And it's still happening, and it's happening rapid fire pace right now in the world with the collapse happening, right? We had to become a certain way to survive things before we knew that we could choose how to respond rather than react. And in times of instability, we tend to default to one of three survival type of identities, right? We become the avoider, like, I can't look at this. Hi, Southern California. We become the overfunctioner. Some of you are there, right? I got to do everything for everybody. Or we default into the person that collapses, that identity where it's like, nothing I do matters, so I'm not going to do anything, right? Those three identities, the avoider, the overfunctioner, and the collapser, those are survival identities. And sometimes we cycle through all of them. None of these are character flaws, and I want to be perfectly clear about that. Like, it doesn't mean something's wrong with you. They are trauma responses to feeling powerless. I didn't say being powerless. You heard that, right? I said feeling powerless because you're overwhelmed. Those identities, those survival identities, will not carry you forward, right? They will not help you. You can, I just collapse, skip Thanksgiving and Christmas, because I totally understand that. Totally understand that, Miss Julie. I become a Hufflepuff when in reality I'm a Slytherin. I like that too. It's all of this. Yeah. As human beings, we all of our nervous systems and brains work pretty much the same way. There's only certain responses we come up with. So I really want you guys to take note. Like, we are so much more alike than we are different. You guys get that? We are more alike than we are different. We all handle getting through things through survival identities until we take control, right? When you're in your sovereign, strong, true identity, not the survival identity. When you ask what is mine to handle and what is not, you begin to literally get your power back. You're not rising above the chaos by trying harder, juggling more. You're asking, what is mine to handle and what isn't? You're sifting through all the things that maybe are hitting you all at one time. And you rise not by avoiding everything that's happening in the world. You rise by becoming someone who can operate inside all of the uncertainty as it's collapsing without you collapsing, without you falling apart. And it is in you. It's in every single one of us. Like, there ain't one person I've ever met that doesn't have it inbuilt. If they can shift their perception, if they can regulate their nervous system, if they can intentionally choose. I've not met one person who can't shift out of the survival identities and into more of sovereignty, true nature of who they are. And I've talked to tens of thousands of people in my career, helping people. So I want you guys to think about this and just take a moment and notice. Don't judge. Don't guilt yourself. Don't shame yourself. All right? Ask yourself, where have I been over functioning, doing too much, trying too hard, right? Where have I been doing that? Then I want you to ask yourself and take note, where have I been freezing? And where have I been avoiding? Again, not about judgment. This is about awareness. It's about choosing deliberately and understanding where our default goes. I know for me, when I hit overwhelm, if I am not regulating, I get so exhausted, I just have to go to sleep. No, there is nothing wrong with the huffle puff. Again, I will go to sleep to reset. But when I go to sleep, it is not to avoid. And I literally am very conscious about, all right, take a break, reset. And there are times when I will get in the bath, right? Get in a salt bath to discharge all of that excess energy, calm my nervous system. Y'all take Epsom salt baths, or my friend Andy sent me this amazing plumeria sea salt, sea salt from Hawaii. And the smell just takes me right to the beach of Hawaii instantaneously. So just a little teaspoon of that with my normal Epsom salt, warm bath, low lights or candles, right? Get in the bath, put my head under the water, breathe, and let everything settle. If I'm still tired after that, then I will go take a quick nap, 3 or 4 hour power nap, whatever works. And then I'm up after that and I completely reset and move forward. But it's intentional. I catch and name the fact that, oh, I'm in freeze mode, or, oh, I'm in overwhelm mode. Oh, I'm carrying way too much. I need to reset. When you regulate, when you purposely, intentionally regulate, you are taking your power back. Truly, you're taking your power back. That's how we rise above it too, right? You can't think your way into a new identity. You can't. You can't shift your identity by thinking your way into it. Think of one area of your life where you feel contracted right now. Maybe it's money, maybe it's work, maybe it's relationship, maybe it's just your stability in general. Think of one area, okay? Don't analyze it. Just notice, what's that one area where I am contracted or stuck right now? And then I want you to ask yourself, what version of me is responding there? Is it the one trying to stay safe? Or is it the one that's capable of leading? And you can drop it in the comments if you want to share it. Just take note. This area where I feel contracted or stuck, what version of me is responding? What version? Is it the overfunctioning one, the frozen one, right? Which version of you? Is it the avoiding one? Again, we're not blaming, shaming, any of that. We're taking note. Is it the one trying to stay safe, or is it the one that's capable of leading? The helpless child. Frozen or avoiding. Yeah. So this is where then you say, this identity, this reaction, it's kept me safe, but it is not leading me forward. Again, when we name and when we become aware of something and we name it, it loses a lot of its power, right? So when you recognize, oh, wait a minute, this isn't leading me forward. Maybe it's making me feel safe, but it's not leading me forward. Now you can choose. You roll your shoulders back, take a deep breath, regulate your nervous system, soften your jaw, drop your shoulders, lengthen your spine, and then say, I'm the one who decides. I'm the one who decides. Because see, identity is felt before it's actually believed. So we want to do these things with our body, right? Like roll our shoulders back, speak out loud, like, yeah, this identity that I've been responding with, it's kept me safe, but it wasn't leading me forward. I'm the one that decides. So doing these physical things is actually creating a shift in that identity, right? And then you can ask yourself, like, if I were already living from my strong, sovereign, higher self, what's one small choice that I could make differently this week? Can the one thing doing it all be frees from an old pattern? Absolutely, cartomancy. Absolutely. Yes. When a trauma gets, whether it's a physical, a mental, emotional trauma, when it gets triggered and it puts you into freeze mode, the old pattern comes back to life, right? You feel stuck there. So that's where we would do some tapping, do a lot of journaling around it, identify it, come to coaching in Hidden Wisdom. Like, come live third Wednesday of every month. Girlfriend, you're part of the group. I'm looking, I don't have my new 2026 calendar, so I can't tell you what day it is for next month. I don't think it's on here. No. Oh, wait. Hold on. It's January the third Wednesday. Wow. It's the 21st. So join the 21st and we can do a lot of tapping around it as well. Yeah. But yes, a lot, like that's another thing, like y'all have to understand with all this stuff that's very reminiscent of living with a narcissist and being in a relationship with someone who's an abuser. All the stuff coming at us, the lies, the contradictions, the surveillance, the control mechanism, all of those things can very easily trigger old traumas that were not all the way healed or dealt with. So for a lot of you, it triggers that freeze response. For some people, it triggers the flight response. For some people, it's triggering the flight response, like you just want to run away, right? There's nothing wrong with that, but it's not powerful in letting that control you and keep you and your nervous system locked down, because that's too much. And eventually that when your nervous system stays like that, you start to develop physical problems, right? And then of course it affects every part of your life, from your relationships to your finances to everything. So we don't want to stay there, and we don't need to. It's painful to listen to. What part of it, hun? Because you resonate with it? I'm not trying to like hurt anybody here, so I'm more than willing to stop and see if we can help you shift. The fight response also just gets gaslighting in that situation. Yeah, absolutely. So one of the things you can do, Miss Julie, if you are resonating to this and you're crying because you're like, oh my God, she's talking about me. So gotcha. I am so sorry that you've been through those traumas. I am so sorry. And I will tell you this, like I went through my own massive amounts of trauma, and then my daughter went through hers. That is why I got onto this path 35 years ago to help people. And I'm 59. So, but there is a thing that I do and I teach and I help my clients with called EFT tapping, emotional freedom technique. And if you go to where your collarbone is, and y'all can do this, go to where your collarbone is. If you're having like an emotional reaction, you're sobbing and you're like, oh my God, I can feel my pains coming up. That's not a bad sign. That is your inner child and your higher self going, This, we need to do this. We got to address this. We got to regulate. So find between your collarbone and where about your bra starts, my bra starts, you want to poke on your chest. You're going to find a sore spot. Like I have a sore spot right here, about an inch below my collarbone. Now I tap a lot. You take that sore spot, you don't want to rub too hard, but you can either tap on it fairly hard. It's going to be sore, or rub it in a circle and type in the comments if you found your sore spot. All of you find your sore spot. I'm going to show you really quickly how to tap. And like I said, I am doing this to help y'all. I have a lot of tools in my toolbox, but if someone's having like a reaction, we're going to deal with it right here, right now. Okay, good. You found it. So I want you to tap on it. And I want you to repeat these words out loud. Okay, while you tap. Even though this is bringing up a lot for me, I deeply love and accept myself. How many? We're going to do 3 setup phrases. You're just tapping while we're talking. Okay? And even though I have a lot of emotions, it's making me sad. Or say whatever emotion you're feeling. I love and accept myself. Even though I know that I don't want to be here anymore in that mode, and I don't want to go through this trauma response anymore, I accept how I feel, and I love and accept myself. Okay? Say that. I know it was a lot. We're going to move to the top of the head, right on your part line, center of the head, 2 or 3 fingers. You're going to tap. You're just going to say this emotion. You can say the sadness. You can say these fears, whatever you want. Tap on it. We're going to move to the front of the eyebrow. I release this sadness. We move to the side of the eye on the bone. I release this trauma. Under the eye on the bone. I release this pain. And then we're going to go under the nose. It's kind of right above where your teeth are. You're going to tap there. You're just going to say, I release all of this. And breathe. Most important part where you're tapping and we're naming these things is to breathe. And then we're going to move to the chin. You're going to tap there. I release this trauma. Front of the collarbone, right on the bone, you're going to tap. I release this sadness. And it's hard. You should be able to hear it while you're tapping on it. Then we're going to go under the arm, under the armpit, right about where your bra would hit. And you're going to poke there and you're going to find another sore spot. These are emotional congestion points. They're lymphatic points, but they're emotional congestion points. So we're going to tap there. We're going to say, I release all of this trauma, all of this sadness, all of this hurt. Okay? And here's where it gets good. You're going to have to put your phone down if you're holding it. Between your finger, your pinky finger, and your ring finger, there's a little joint. You're going to tap in there, and you're going to do what I say. So we're going to keep tapping. We're going to breathe, and we're going to close our eyes. And we're going to open our eyes. We're going to roll our eyes from the floor to the ceiling, to the floor, and back the other way. This is going to be weird, and I'll explain it when we're done. And we're going to hum happy birthday. All the while you're tapping. And now we're going to count to 5 fast. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You notice I'm still tapping. And then we're going to hum again. And stop humming. Now I want you to count to 5 very slowly. So deep breath in. Keep tapping. 1. Another deep breath in. 2. Keep tapping. Another deep breath in. 3. Deep breath in. 4. Last one. 5. Good. Now, go back to the top of the head. And this is where we tapping good energy in. I am strong. Okay? Right on the part line. Then we're going to move to the front of the eyebrow, right on the bone. I am calm. Side of the eye. I'm in control. Under the nose, above the lip, right there. I am the one who decides. On the chin, and this is a big one, I am safe. Front of the collarbone, on the bone, I am safe. My body is safe. Under the arm, right in that sore spot, I can trust myself. Okay? And now we're going to finish it up on the karate chop point. And this is the EFT gold standard, like the original gold standard. So on the karate chop point, you're going to tap and you're going to repeat after me. We're going to finish this up. Even though I have felt frozen, or name whatever you're feeling, and I've been stuck in sadness. Maybe I've even avoided things. I love and accept myself. Even though I have had trauma and I hate what's happening in the world right now, I am in control and I love myself. Even though I have not felt strong, I choose to stand in my strength now. Okay? To finish it up, we're going to ground it in. So grab your wrist, very grounding. We integrate that energy. And then I want you to take a deep breath. I usually disconnect the energy, so I will just take my hands and sweep away and take a deep breath. Tell me how y'all feel. But especially Miss Julie, you feel any better, calmer? Welcome, Julie. And those of you on YouTube and Facebook, let me know how you guys, did you follow along? Calmer. Cool. Good. Tapping is amazing. Feel calmer, breathing. Good. It's way more intimate when you're doing it one-on-one, but like it works. So that's something literally that you can use. If you ever need to come back to this video, you can go onto YouTube, onto my YouTube channel at Bernadette Gold 1. Thank you. Oh my God. OMG. Thank you for the heart puffs. And go through it again. If you want to tap. Just missed the tapping, Lillian. It'll be saved on to Facebook anyways, so you can go back and watch. We're like a little over an hour in. So for timestamp for y'all, we did the tapping right about an hour, and I've been doing tapping and facilitating people's healing without re-traumatizing them with tapping since like 2001, a long time ago. Like been doing it for a number of years. And it is so powerful. And like people have changed it to TFT and all these other things. I studied under Gary Craig, the one who originally came up with EFT tap, and it works really, really well. That's the gold standard method. So what we were doing, I said I was going to explain it. When you're rubbing your sore spot or tapping on your sore spot, again, this is an emotional congestion point. We store energy in our lymphatics, especially up here and under here. You guys will notice, and you can check this the next time you're really charged up or really emotional. Press around in your chest and see if there's a sore spot. right? You know, the mornings you wake up and you have an emotional hangover because you went through something the day before. Yeah, check your emotional congestion points. That means you are storing emotions in your tissues, right? Issues are in the tissues. You guys have heard that. They stay. So if that's there, you can literally tap on that. What we do with that first even though phrase, why we do it 3 times, we're doing a polarity reversal. We're literally setting the body up to accept a shift and a change. And the points that we're hitting, this is the point of 1,000 meetings in acupuncture. Literally, this is where 1,000 different nerves come together in our heads. So we tap on that. We tap on our eyebrow points. These are all acupuncture meridian points. So we are activating different energy places in the body. So when I had you guys tap on your hand and roll your eyes, right? Hum happy birthday, count to 5 quick, count to 5 slow. What we're doing there is connecting and aligning the left and right side of the brain, bringing it back to center. Sometimes when we get up in our heads, especially if we're in trauma, we pitch out and we're only on one side of our brain, or we're stuck in the memory part of whatever trauma we're reliving, rehashing, and just in a mental loop. So when we tap, we can break that loop, but also at the same time, we're releasing energy, physical energy, emotional energy, and thought energy from our body, which then allows us to calmly, like literally ground ourselves, another regulation tool for your nervous system, and then move forward, right? And we don't have to relive the trauma, but we do have to consciously decide, okay, I'm going to clear this and I'm going to move forward. So I hope that helps. Tapping is one of my favorite tools. Doing it together with you helped me a lot these last few years. I love you, Lillian. Tapping is really, really good. Yes. And it's good to help you rewire as well. You know, like, I'm glad you said something, Miss Julie. Thank you for saying something, because, you know, I do these live streams and you guys can see me. I can't see you. I wish we were in person, you know? So you guys have to tell me, like, oh my God, I'm reacting to this like you did. And you're like, I'm so sad and I'm crying over here. I want to know these things, because then I can stop what we're doing and take care of it, help you relieve that and get you back calm and in control. Right? So it's super helpful for me to know. And I am very, very grateful that you said something, because I do have, like, when I tell you guys I have a ton of tools, I have a ton of tools. I've been doing this for a number of years. And some of those tools I can teach you guys through live stream or whatever. You know, this, to me, when I'm on live stream and I come to you guys this way to teach and to have conversations, to me it's like, this is my community service. I'm not doing this, like, literally I will get off the stream, I probably made 50 cents, right? Like, it's, I'm not making money on this shit. I'm not monetized on YouTube. Like, I'm here to help. And at the time that we are in right now, knowing how much trauma people have been through, and they're just getting hammered right now, listening to the lies, to the bullshit, and having our freedom stripped, and having to see the things going on in the news and on videos with the ICE and all the madness that they're doing, right? We have to come up with some tools. We have to be there to support each other and help each other, literally. So that's why I'm here. I'm not going to go forward. Like, we'll talk about more of this, especially with the stabilizing of the money and where I think work is going and how we can think about work and making money in a future live stream. I don't want to flood you guys. I think it's good that we pause when things hit a certain level and not continue, you know. But let me ask you guys a question, like, with what we've talked about so far tonight, does it help? Did it help you orient to where you are and where you're getting locked down? If you need help with difficult things in your life, book a private session with Bernadette. She's the best. Lillian, thank you. So it did. Okay, good. Good. Definitely yes. Cool. I've got a lot that, because people are asking me, like, what can we do? Right? What can we do about what's happening? Y'all, it's the state level that's going to stop this shit. The states are going to have to do it because we don't have until the midterms. Look at the shit this man has pulled in 12 months. We don't have until the midterms. Call your senators, call your Congress, call your local representatives, call your attorney generals, right? Call your media, like your news stations, or email them, like, we need to hold these people accountable. I was talking about this in the live stream last night, like all of the Epstein files and the flood of information, lovely, great. It's doing nothing. There's no accountability. There are no investigations ongoing. That all stopped when that Epstein disappeared out of his cell. Conveniently. They were saying 10 names. Now I'm hearing 25 names. I'm sure there's over 100 names. If there's been 1,000 girls that have come forward, not the ones who have not come forward. There's been that many, that there's hundreds of names. And the only way that we are going to stop this and ensure safety for our children going forward into future generations is we hold their feet to the fire. Hold their feet to the fire. Yes, I have sincere energy. Thank you. Whatever I do was house. Yes, agreed, Miss Cardamancy. I can't say that. I can say Jesus' home country. I can't say that word. I got a violation on my live from saying that word. So I got to be really careful. It's funny how, and I know with the new ownership, it's going to be worse. Like, creative words, Jesus' home country. I can say that. So far I can say that. My point is this. For those, how many of you in here who are watching me, most of you are women. I know Andy's a man. I don't know how many men we have in here. Part of my ongoing research over the last year has been researching the different species in the matriarchy. And then there are still remnant societies of matriarchy, and looking historically at the difference between matriarchy, patriarchy. But how many of you are women? And I'm asking because, like many of you, I know that the divine feminine is rising and wants to rise. But like some of you, I'm menopausal. And it's funny because in modern history, we treat menopausal women as done. Like, you're useless. You don't have a purpose. When in, cool. In true, I don't want to just say awaken. I want to say conscious. In true conscious societies, the women, the elder women, the menopausal women were the ones that were rational. They were the elders. They were the sage. Crone became a dirty word. That became an insult when actually the crone was revered. Women need to step up and lead. And I'm not going to get into all the matriarchy, patriarchy things. Personally, I would love to see us have more matriarchal leadership and run from a more matriarchal mindset, because in matriarchal societies, there's no violence. Everybody's fed. Why? Because women control the food, and it's about society, the entire society, not hoarding, not power, and not greed. So they don't have the violence. Bonobos, the bonobos monkey, we share 99% of our DNA with. If you look at how their societies run, the elder bonobos holds it together. And all of the women literally help contain any kind of funk. We are seeing more and more women standing up. But see, women, it can't be women who want to step into the masculine patriarchy roles. That's not going to work. It's women who are grounded, who have their nervous systems regulated. Because from there, we can access divine wisdom. We can access intuition, right? We can see solutions. Y'all know women are wired to multitask. We are wired that way. Women, the feminine energy is about the creation energy. The masculine energy is about ordering what was created. They bring order around it. We have everything backwards and upside down right now. We are moving into a time, and we've all heard the prophecies, and right, the age of Aquarius, the time of the divine feminine rising once again. The only way that we can be in a position to be helpful during this shift and this transition that is just hairy scary right now for a lot of people is to work on ourselves and regulate our nervous system, understanding how we can do that using those tools, and then building systems parallel to the systems that are currently collapsing. And I don't mean like for your entire community. I mean, get a few friends together, start a garden together, learn new recipes, learn how to can. If you're like me and you have natural health experience, or you're a nurse practitioner, you're a doctor, and you're like, I want out of the corporate capitalist thing. Like, there's that place where we can bring our skills together and resource share. These are the things that will keep us above the collapse. It can be done. It doesn't happen in one fell swoop. And I think most people, like I was saying earlier, when we're in that sort of survival mode, we want all or nothing. I want it all to change all at once. As we've seen over the last year, that's not how things change. They change slowly. They change methodically, right? If we want things to shift and change, we have to be patient. We have to build small, and then it will catch. But it's not fix everything, build everything all at once. You build it alongside as things are collapsing. And my hope is that in this sort of shit show that's happening right now, that we can stand, those of us who feel comfortable can stand to be a light, can be a calming force, can be, that shelter in the middle of the storm that says, all right, it's cool. Let's take a break. Let's recalibrate. Let's figure it out. Let's go forward from here, right? Some of you have skills. You don't have to be like me where you're like, oh, let me do a live stream and stuff like that. And I mean, if you'd asked me 20 years ago if this is what I'd be doing, I would have laughed and said, hell no, we didn't have this stuff available to us back then. But, I just follow what spirit tells me to do and the promptings that I get. So many of us think that our skills of knowing how to cook, how to sew, how to bake, how to garden, like, who needs to know those things? Us older women, right? Who needs to know how to really resolve conflict, communicate well, draw people forward instead of calling them out? Like, who needs to know that? Everybody. Like, these kids, and I'm not trying to say anything bad about them because it's not their fault. We used to have home ec. We were just talking about this at Christmas. Like, in home ec, we learned how to sew on a sewing machine and by hand, right? I'm Gen X, so those of you who are Gen X know what I'm talking about. Like, in home ec, we learned how to cook. We learned how to bake. We learned how to do shit. They removed that stuff from school. These kids, a lot of them, they know how to use a microwave, but God forbid if they actually have to cook, let alone like garden. What? Sew? What do you mean you have to sew something? Like, they just throw stuff away and go out and buy stuff. Well, in the economy we're in now, that's just not reality, right? I know how to change my own oil. My dad taught me. I know how to check my oil. I had to teach my youngest, who's now 23 years old, how to do all that stuff before she moved off to Virginia. How to pressure up her tires and how to use the tire gauge. A lot of these kids don't know these simple things. We have to teach them. We have to teach them. You don't have to be their mother, their aunt, their grandmother. You just be someone who's like, hey, I have these skills and these resources. Let me teach you. That's where we're heading. We're heading back to, I keep seeing these videos about like the millennials and Gen Z are going analog, which I think it's funny that they call that analog versus digital. So they're trying to get back to where we were, Gen Xers were growing up. And what I hear them saying that they're not saying is, we're going to learn how to cook instead of getting DoorDash. We're going to learn how to actually make some healthy stuff. We're going to learn, if we need to, how to make our own clothes, how to fix the things that are broken, instead of being a consumer, throw it all away kind of society. And that's where the elders come in. That is where the wise crones come in, the sages come in. That is where the grandmother energy comes in. And when it comes to governing, women, and I know this to be true for myself in my household, and I live in a multi-generational household and have for a number of years, it's always about making everybody like feel heard and seen first. That's important. And keeping the peace and keeping everything running together and running smoothly. It takes work, but it's not about force, and it's not about punishment, and it's not about anger. And more people need to learn how to do that so that we can nurture each other, so that we can care for one another, so that we can really hold each other up. And I think that's a lost art and lost knowledge. It's kind of going to come back because it's a necessity. What do you guys think? I'm curious. I just went on a whole other like tangent. The things that are falling apart, I actually am, in a lot of ways, some of it I'm grateful for. But I know it's scary because it's the systems that we've lived under. Even if they were broken, they have to fall so that something else can replace them. So we can't be afraid of it. Right? Anywho, did I lose all of you? I still see you in the room, both on Facebook and on YouTube, and on TikTok. But nobody's commenting. So yeah, I hope this helped tonight. I do not want to overwhelm anybody. And if you guys have any questions, put them in the chat right now. Or if you have a comment, put it in the chat right now, because I'd like to know, does this help? So that I know what you guys need for the next one, right? I want to know, like, we can go over financial stability as things are collapsing. I know a lot of people are losing jobs. My foster daughter is, like, her federal job is at risk. In January, we're going to go through another government shutdown. And in that process, I'm sure they're going to cut more jobs and more agencies, and a lot of people are afraid of that. The tech companies are cutting. And so the shape of even employment is changing, and we have to be ready for it. I feel like I'll be able to sleep without medication for the first time in a long time. Miss Julie, you just made my night. That just made my night. Like, for real. Anytime I can help someone to the point where they don't need to take medication, that makes me so happy. Makes me so happy. I'll tell you one thing that's been working for my insomnia, and I have like literally since chemo, is magnesium. But if I miss if I do not take my 2 magnesiums at night, I cannot stay asleep. Your son-in-law just lost his job. I bet you it's scary for him. I've been crocheting blankets, teaching a young lady to do the same. I love that. Yeah, my granddaughter's learning how to crochet too. So one of the things I was going to talk to you guys about, and I don't know if you guys have even saw this or heard of it. I've been talking to my groups about it. Like, one of the things that I think more and more we're going to go to is fractional employment, and fractional positions. Do you guys know what that is? And it's happening a lot in senior level positions in corporate. Not as much, but there is some in middle management and whatnot happening. So fractional employment, and this is happening with COOs, CEOs, CFOs that have lost their jobs with big companies. And fractional employment is like you give you agree with the company, they don't hire you on full time, you agree to so many hours per month, and they give you a monthly retainer to fulfill those hours. Maybe you sign as a contract employee, or you're an employee, but you're not getting the benefits because they're not having you on full time. There are CEOs, CFOs, and COOs that are doing fractional employment. What this means is like, so for this 10 hours a month, this is what you're going to pay me. And then I'm going to work with this other company over here, another 10 hours, maybe 15 hours a month, this other fraction of time as their CEO. And then over here, like you can have 3 or 4 different fractional employers, and it makes up for and sometimes far exceeds what you would have made during a full-time one company position. That is part of it. They are trying to end all benefits. Employers kind of suck right now. But like with startup companies, a lot of startup companies will hire fractional employees like that because for them, it's affordable if they don't have a huge amount of capital to begin with. And it's a way to get things moving forward. For me, like if I was still in corporate, I would love that shit because I get so bored doing the same repetitive tasks over and over again. Seems like it could potentially be a conflict of interest. It's already happening, Nika's like for real. Go look up fractional employment. There's actual job boards just for fractional jobs. So if y'all haven't heard about it, and I work with leaders, like, I'm a high performance coach as well. So I stay on top of all of this too, as far as what's going on in the industry. So we may see more of it, like you would think like, oh, that it's just part-time. Yeah, it's part-time. Like you refer to part-time job, part-time work when you're making hourly wage, but these people are making bank. And it's kind of like some people will hire you just for a project. And other people are going to hire you for a period of time, or they're just going to hire you on to stay that way. Right. That's just it's where things are going. Fractional employment, I think, is where things are going. I'll tell my stomach. Huh? What do you mean? So yeah, look it up. It's a way, when I think about that, and I was reading this article a while ago that was talking about like this one guy had like 4 different contracts going, and he was making more than he was making at his full-time job in corporate because you get to set your own rate too, right? It seems like that. OMG, kind of seems like that, but not necessarily. Who knows where things are going, but I will tell you this. It's not a bad thing because your ass is covered. If you lose one of your fractional gigs, you've got another fractional gig going, right? And you're gaining experience and skill set. And it's not like you're not locked into one industry. You can take your skill set into multiple industries. Meanwhile, your portfolio and your resume are growing. So you have to look at the high side of that as well, right? There are plenty of people that do that sitting on different boards that are upper level people, high performers and leaders that they sit on multiple boards. They get paid to be on the board. There's no conflicts of interest there either. They're paying for your experience. They're paying for your time. So to be like, not a lot of people are aware of fractional employment. So like for anyone who's lost their job, look into it. Look into it. It may be a solution. Some employers will have ownership problems. I mean, who knows? You know, like it reminds me a lot of how society's going with fucking subscriptions for everything. No joke, right? Like you don't own your software, you have to rent it. Oh, and those features in your car, you have to pay a membership for if you want to activate them. Like that's just kind of where society's gone from a standpoint of affordability, and not having to bring someone on full time to do what you need them to do, and to be able to call it not part-time but fractional, and you're not holding all of the liability for their benefits and whatnot. And I'm not saying that they don't give any benefits. Some of them will, but it's just, this is the wave right now that's hitting the world of employment. And there's so many people competing for jobs. People are putting in their searches for a lot of these places, and they're looking for full time, where they're not even thinking about, oh, I could do 3 fractional positions and make up, maybe not even work 40 hours a week, but make more than I was making at my one corporate job. So options, people, opportunities, honestly, there's hope. So look into it if you have someone that is out of work. Because there are those positions out there, but if you don't know to look for them, you're not going to find them. So I hope that helps too. Anywho, lots of things are changing in 2026. For those of you who are not in my Hidden Wisdom monthly group, if you want to join, go to my website, Hidden Wisdom. It's bernadettegold.com/hidden wisdom. And you can join us $40 a month. We do monthly live coaching. I do a monthly forecast. And there's a ton of information that is in there that's on demand to help you stabilize, help you grow. We talk about health issues. We talk about everything in there. But it's recurring membership. You can cancel anytime, on your own. But it's valuable information in there, and it's a good community. So if you're interested in that, go in there. For those of you in Hidden Wisdom, I was talking about this last night. I am having a hell of a time right now wanting to do a whole year-long forecast because things are so dynamic right now, and things are changing so rapidly, and we're at so many sort of choice points in the world, and especially here in the US, nothing is written in stone. So like I could predict the next 12 months. Am I 100% sure that this is the way things are going to go? Not like I was with 2025. 2025, I knew fairly certain what months were going to be issues. I know that there are certain months that are going to be issues in 2026, but I'm hoping that we can compress some of this shit and change things, because we're at that level of a choice point. 2026 is all about decisions and choices. And there's going to be a lot of shakeups. So I'm still consulting spirit on that. Do I do a year? Do I just do it by quarters this year? Because things are changing so flippin' fast. And I wish I had great news. The trajectory we're on is not good. It's going to be a rough ride. And I'm not going to sugarcoat that, because I'd be lying to y'all. And I see these psychics out there, these tarot readers, and they're like, oh, if you're a Leo, 2026 is going to be a great year. Like, fuck all that. That ain't true. Like, even if you have good spots in the year, because we will, each one of us will have our own spots and whatnot. The world in itself and the collective energy is going to be a mess. Because it's not just happening here in the US too, right? You guys know that, right? Like UK is having issues, Mexico's having issues, freaking Honduras, like everywhere. We're at a collective shifting point across the planet. And here in the US, we've got our whole shit show going on. It will be the early 70s. Oh, God. I wasn't comprehending back. I mean, I was just a kid in the 70s. you know? Yeah, we shall see. But I'm working on the yearly forecast. I'm working on the astrology, and I'm working on really nailing down the predictions, but things are moving like super fluid. And I'm curious, cartomancy, as you're looking out over the next year, is it shifting and changing for you, or have you locked it in? Young said humanity's greatest weakness is the desire for certainty, right? Yeah. And like I was saying last night, like nothing is written in stone. Like nothing is written in stone. You know, people talk about destiny and fate. Well, we make our own destiny and fate with every choice we make, you know? It's like no year it's been before. That's exactly the point. Um, that's exactly the point. Yeah. Like this is a different year. This year and yeah, it's changing. Cartomancy and YouTube saying is changing. Yeah. Like I can usually lock in every year before this. I've been able to lock in and I'm like this month, this month, this month. Like, but 2026, because I've been working on the yearly forecast for about a month now, has just been like, holy hell. Like I'm seeing forks and roads. Like there's things are branching, which to me it's a good thing because it isn't like we aren't on the road to hell, right? And there's no getting off of it. Like we have choices that will take us down different paths, which is hopeful. It gives us power. But from a prediction standpoint, it's the hardest year so far that I've had to look into and figure out, holy hell, what's going to happen. Stabby Unicorn, what is up, girl? It's gold, a good investment right now. I am not an like I don't do investment stuff. Like we were just talking about survival mode. I don't do that stuff. I used to, but I don't. And I don't use my gifts for readings anymore. Unless you're in my group, we talk about the general collective energies, what to expect, how to navigate through it. But I don't do psychic reading stuff anymore. I used to have a bunch of Wall Street brokers and shit that I used to work with, and it drove me crazy. Drove me crazy. No, that's my name, Bernadette Gold. Has nothing to do with investing. So, yeah, more about the frequency of. But, yep. Anywho, all right. So, I will try to come back. Today is the 27th. I will, I'm sure, be back at some point, probably, maybe New Year's Eve. Did you guys notice that, hi Freedom, that several countries, large cities, canceled their New Year's Eve celebrations? Paris, London, I think one in Brazil. There's several. Tokyo canceled their New Year's Eve celebrations because of threats. And I say that to say this: trust your intuition on New Year's Eve. I don't think that we've canceled ours here. I'll just tell you, if it were me, I would not be in big crowded places on New Year's Eve this year. I would not. The security in New York is probably going to be intense. Yeah, exactly. Stay home. Stay home. I don't care if you're in Vegas, you're in Los Angeles, you're in Chicago, you're like, I would stay. If it were me, I'd stay home. I am staying home. So I'll probably be on live stream. I'll be home returning fire. Yeah, I wouldn't be in crowded places. I'm surprised, but not that much, that we haven't canceled these big events, because they do know of threats that were made to Los Angeles and New York, but yet party must go on, apparently. Just learn to be flexible and adaptable and shift, people, because hell, like, this government just doesn't respond like that. Anywho, you got the power. You got the power. I hope you guys learned some things tonight. Thanks for joining. Thanks, Deborah. I will see you guys, if not before New Year's Eve, on New Year's Eve. I plan to be doing a live stream on them, and I'll come on. Y'all on YouTube and Facebook, tell me right now, you guys want me to stream on the YouTube and the Facebook on New Year's Eve? Because I will, but you got to say it. Because I'm always on TikTok lives. Like, TikTok has me. I have more followers over there. But if you guys want me over on Facebook and YouTube, please put in the comments right now, and I'll plan for that. Thanks for coming, Rita. Good night, Linda. Yes. All right. So I will stream YouTube, Facebook, and TikTok on New Year's Eve. We'll see what comes through, what wants to come through. Andy, thank you for the galaxy. Holy cow. I appreciate you, friend. I'll see you guys later. Have a good rest of your weekend. Get some rest.